Ascension, is it all luck based or is there some skill involved? Let's find out. First of all, this game needs a first player token. It's a small thing, but it's hard to remember sometimes, so we just added one in, made the game way better. Second of all, I'm going to be talking just about base Ascension, so keep that in mind. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk high level strategy. If you're getting points from the honor pool directly, the game's going to end quicker. If you're getting most of your points from cards, the game's going to go longer. So the way to end the game quicker is get lifebound faction cards or punching monsters. The way to extend the game to be longer is to buy cards with lots of points that don't actually take from the honor pool. Another way to think about this game is how many points do I get per card? So Mystic and Heavy Infantry, they get you one just from the card itself. But every time you use the card, Heavy Infantry, you can always punch the cultist. That's another point. So every time you use it, you're getting another point. The Mystic, every time you use that, you can at least buy another Heavy Infantry, so that's a point. Each of those will get you points every time you use them. And you can extrapolate this to all of the cards. How many points will I get initially and over the course of the game, depending on how many turns there are. So that's the kind of high level approach I would take when I'm looking at cards and evaluating how effective they are. This is the kind of game that as you play it a lot, you can see where synergies come up and where cards are just inherently powerful by themselves. But the runaway games I've seen are coming into play when there's huge synergies paying off. So when you're going for Mechanic constructs and it's just running away with more and more and more Mechanic constructs, or you're going all in on Lifebound faction and getting the right constructs so that every time you play each hero, you get an additional honor point. If you're playing them together, you're getting benefits. That's where the real broken big turns, huge turns come into play. And that was something that was undervalued when we were first playing. We didn't see the effect of synergies and how much they play into huge games, into huge pointed games. Now this is an obvious point, but you really want to buy efficient cards. You only get 5 in your hand, so you want those 5 cards to be the most impactful possible. Constructs are a way to get around this. You get the usefulness of the card every single turn without having it in your hand, which is nice. But for the cards that are in your hand, you want them to have the most impact possible. So buying the Mystics and the Infantries early in the game is helpful to ramp you up to buy the Demon Slayers, to buy the Emrys, to buy the Land Talkers. Then you just focus on buying bigger and bigger. You don't buy all the gray cards you can. Let's talk about deck thinning now. Deck thinning in the obvious way is buying void cards and banishing things out of your deck. That's deck thinning. Another way to look at deck thinning and deck efficiency is buying constructs which live outside your deck. Sometimes they're in your deck, but for the most part, they'll be outside your deck, not taking up space. Cards in the Enlightened faction, they also don't take up space. You get points, but you're drawing through those cards, and so they are as if they aren't in the deck. Another is buying cards with power that are efficient because you're punching monsters and killing them so that they don't take up spots in your deck either. So those are ways to think about deck thinning outside of the very direct void cards. Now I want to talk quickly about some specific cards. In general, avoid the initiates, except the Aura, which Aura is a card that doesn't take up space in your deck because it replaces itself, but it gives you an extra victory point. The other initiates do take up space in your deck, and they offer a very small utility that I don't think is worth it. Now there are 5 cards in the base set that I think stand above the rest. Muramasa is definitely the best card in the game. You get 4 honor. Already that's a really good rate. 7 room for 4 honor. You get 3 power per turn. At the base, you're getting 1 point for every cultist hit every single turn. It protects itself because the only way to get rid of constructs is through fighting monsters, and this helps fight monsters really well. It's also ending the game quicker. You're getting more points, you're ending the game quicker, it's protecting itself. It's a great card. Now the next 2 cards are very similar. Emry and Demon Slayer. You get tons of power on 1 card. I think that's about all I have to say. They're very efficient. Land Talker, it's in the same category. You get 3 runes on 1 card. Very efficient. This is the kind of thing you want to be doing in the game. The last card I want to talk about is the Arbiter of the Precipice. This card, especially if you can get it on the first turn, you're gonna run away with this game. You're drawing 2 cards and thinning your deck out. You're gonna end up with a 5-card hand still, but it will be a better 5-card hand. You'll be thinning your deck out and your deck will get more and more efficient. So get this early if you can. First turn, it's amazing. So I don't want to talk about all the other cards because you can just see where they fit into synergies or how good they are in your own situation. But 2 I do want to talk about are Druids of the Stone Circle and Aura Templar. They're both giving you a lot of points for their card and they give you a nice utility. You're getting at least 1 point every time you use them. At least 1 point, if not more. However, they don't add to big turns. You can't build on top of these. So that's one thing to remember. So that's Ascension for you. Hopefully these strategies can help you increase your win percentage, even just by a little bit. If I missed something, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. So thanks. Have a great day. Angry Thief is a 2 to 6 player take that kind of card game where you match food and spill your opponents. Get it now on Kickstarter.